Two of the left's most favorite people, Abigail Shrier and Bill Maher, had a pretty interesting conversation on Bill Maher's show. And essentially, it's about Joe Biden destroying the U.S. border. And Bill Maher still says that he's riding with Biden no matter what. He's still somehow a vote blue, no matter who kind of guy. But at least he can find a way to admit that Democrat policies are absolute disasters. I still don't fully understand how these people continue to trick themselves into voting for more of it. But I mean, I guess maybe they'll get there. Maybe it's a baby steps kind of thing.
There was an actual big story in the news this week about immigration, and I want to get to that because I think if Biden loses this election, it's going to be because of two things. He's old and he can't get past that issue, and people just hate that about him. And immigration. I mean, just on a political level, I don't think they could have handled it worse. Because now what's going on, if you didn't see the news this week, okay, here's what Biden's doing. He's finally, after saying he couldn't do anything, he's going to issue an executive order. By the way, this is the same executive order Trump tried to get through the courts, and they didn't let him do it. But he's going to finally try it 6 months before the election, which says we will put a cap of 2,500 now asylum seekers coming in. If it passes 2,500, if it's 2,501, then we automatically close the border.
You know, this stuff is enough to drive any thinking person completely insane. I mean, it's amazing to me how many people have fallen for years and years and years of Joe Biden and Karine Jean-Pierre and all the other mouthpieces just blaming it on congressional inaction every time the border comes up. Most of the Trump era policies, the border policies, were all done by executive action, which unfortunately made them really, really easy to overturn, also by executive action on basically Joey's first day. And now here he is, years later, trying to slap a Band-Aid on his biggest, most obscene problem, not because it's the right thing to do, not in response to people actually dying along the most dangerous land migration route in all of human history, but because it's polling badly. And still, you know, just like the fake Senate bill, they still set these arbitrary numbers, man. After 2,500 entries a day, then we're going to act. I mean, why is it reasonable to accept 1 million people a year illegally? And if they can just magically seal the border whenever they want, when some arbitrary number is met, why have they never, ever, ever sealed it?
When it goes down to 1,500, then we resume standard asylum procedures. It's like surge pricing with Uber. It's a bizarre scheme that, of course, has pleased nobody. It looks like a last minute, it looks like he did nothing.
He did this knowing that it's going to be declared invalid by the courts.
And it's an admission that he could have done it the whole time, and he didn't. So now you broke it, you bought it, it's on him.
That's exactly right, man. That's exactly what it is. It's an admission that he did have the power to act the entire time. We've got thousands and thousands and thousands of pages of immigration law. We do not need some magical new law in order to protect our border and actually enforce immigration policies. We need leaders with the will and, unfortunately, the courage to do it. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. Nothing about allowing unchecked illegal immigration makes any kind of sense at all.
I read an article about this that really stuck with me. I think it was in Yuma, Arizona, where the hospitals were so overrun that American sick people could not use the hospitals. Okay, we have school children who can't get into their schools. This is a problem. It's chaos. And Biden campaigned on reversing Trump's policy on the border. He reversed it, and now he's stuck with the consequences.
Unfortunately, I mean, that's exactly right, man. And after years and years of the media ignoring the problems, after years and years of government gaslighting, it's now impossible to escape the actual results of very, very bad policy. People are literally dying. Communities are breaking down. Resources for our own legal citizens are becoming scarce. I mean, it makes no sense. And she's absolutely right. This is exactly what he promised. Joe Biden promised the opposite of everything that Donald Trump did on the border. And to a large extent, Donald Trump's policies were working. And now we do have the opposite of that. We have the opposite of working. You know, it's possibly the only promise that Joe Biden has ever fulfilled in his entire 50-year worthless career. But that's just my take, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.